And here we go. Plane is in the sky. Match number 1 of the day as Xenox set 3 Miramars to kick things off. And the first one here, Xenox, as southern as we can get. Usually these planes pass means you have to get some ulterior drop spots in there. For this tournament, we're only 2 Miramar games in. Is everyone ready for every other team's alternate drop spot? Or are we maybe seeing teams, unfortunately, land on top of one another?
And are we maybe going to see a game that really shakes things up a little bit? That's really what I want to see from day 2 here for the Pubg Nations Cup. Through the first 5 matches, it was spoken about a lot yesterday. You know, sort of this top 6 that kind of started to form even throughout only just straight away. I look, you know, kind of catches my eye. Brazil, Finland, Korea, all inside of this phase 1 circle. It's only phase 1. You don't want to get too excited for it, but it's the same teams, Toby, that obviously had in that El Pozo finish. Of course, in the end, it was the Finns that did take victory for that final game. So we move to match 6 now. Again, a reminder, 5 games today in total. 3 of the first will be on Miramar, and then it will be the 2 Erangel games to close out the day.
One of the things that I thought we saw more of in the early game yesterday, in the earlier games, I should say, yesterday than in the latter games.
If you think about it, you throw mollies in there, you throw grenades in there, that's a pretty easy way. And we actually saw Australia do this to Canada.
So Finland, in the meantime, sitting decent, opting to go for the church area. You know what? If this circle goes further east, we need to
continue to rack up those points.
Sure. Next circle, just 5 seconds away. We'll see where that one's going to be going. Chinese Taipei scouting further forward. They know that Canada is nearby, but let's see. Are they forced to move? Hey, they got the 2 knocks, didn't get flushed off it, knowing now we have to back off. We have to prioritize the next circle.
They have to start moving, correct, and that's what they're going to do. So they don't go for anything more on Germany. Smart from the United Kingdom. They don't get greedy, and we'll see if that works out well for them. Australia, of course, pushing down. They get the knock onto LP1, but he'll be revived. Surely no issues. Shiva, they can fight Korea.
Exactly. They've got the hill. They've got the cover for now, but now we're starting to see Korea shoot towards them as well. Thailand.
South Australia did lose Flood. That's on top of the hill out towards the eastern side. Came now with the knock onto Teddy. He falls along with Kid X. So that's Indonesia. Did bring up a very good point. That top 3, they're starting to really form a gap.
Looking scary. That is definitely a true. First plane, a tricky southern one. This time around, of course, not only, I mean, yes, he didn't get the kills. He does get a good placement, doesn't get the kills, but the beginning of the game, they were done for. Vietnam were done for, and they still make that much of an impact late game.
You know what he gets, though? He doesn't get the kills, you're right, but he gets a moment in PUBG.
Chloe's bringing that momentum into this game. For
Wiggle on in this particular game.
We're watching Germany now here as well, waiting for the next circle as well. I like the way they're spreading this out. I mean, it goes way back to the Shift W days, of course. They do have Chris there as the coach. Spread out. Know that you have no fears of going towards one another. Now you have each edge. You can pick and choose where do you want to go. I would expect to see a very hard time rotating on through to the next one. But a lot of splits as we see it here.
Yeah, definitely. As we are obviously going to get that phase 3 circle now popping its way into the game. Who does it favor? It looks like maybe the United Kingdom, really since the first 3 minutes of the game.
Not sure if we're going to see them make the aggressive play in on it, but to go back to it real quickly, I loved Finland's rotation in making the way all the way northbound, potentially out into blue, because this is what they want to avoid. When you see a hard shift, especially one like this with Labandita in the middle, Labandita becomes a massive roadblock. You're funneling the teams either to commit. He was on his way over there, but because they take them down so fast, even when they do get casualties, because they take them down fast, they get the position. Very, very good play from Finland, who had a tough rotation to make. Wrap north around, now has one of the best compounds in the circle.
Yeah, and strength in numbers there, basically just threw bodies at it. Really nice play from T-Bone, got a nice double, but in the end, well, that's quite unfortunate for them and for Brazil. They will suffer. It's BHC and Sparking that's still left alive. Indonesia now on the move in between China and Chinese Taipei. Where did they go?
China, 6 kills, still 4 alive. I said it in the previous game. Give them a hint of momentum going their way, and they will punish. They have a rotation to make. They just heard all of Indonesia wrapping on in. Either they're going to wrap hard west here, or they might just want to crash straight into them. Not sure what's going to happen. We'll have to wait and see. Finds one more. 7 kills now for China as they slowly but steadily climb their way back up the leaderboard.
Yeah,
forward. And fortunately for Argentina, they were ready and waiting, but they won't be ready and waiting for this one coming on through. Teddy, first one to jump out of the car, finds one. Lash does get the knock in return. Lash finds a second, as well as Korea somehow alive here, trying to hold off Indonesia.
Argentina need to push this. Argentina need to be aggressive, find points, feel confident. Okay, you've just helped get rid of Germany and Brazil. Push on this. You know it's Korea. You know they're close. Indonesia's only got Nile left standing. He tries to do what he can do. Throw out some smoke, throw out some flashes. Fisher's got the high ground as well on the roof. Make something happen, Argentina, before it's too late.
China coming in full speed forward. They hear what's going on. If there is a spot you want to play this circle right now, this is one of the very only compounds left in what is this next circle. And China want a...
Things do come to a bit of a standstill at Korea. They're on the back foot. They've only got the 3 players, so they too don't really want to do much.
Entire team of Germany and 2 Brazilian players to Indonesia taken out there. What's going to happen eventually? I love the back.
Five-degree angle. Yeah, these are the ones that, you know, players and people like. But me, I'm like, but it couldn't go like way
We had
more
those
one
already.
direction.
We had those already. I like how we evolved the plane path over Gunlightcast. With good plane paths,
I mean,
come terrible circles. So
can
I'm
only
very
hope.
curious to see where the first one is going to take us.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to consume as much.
What Argentina needed. Again, I mean, you can get a win, you can get it in many different ways. The ones that come to you kind of spoon-fed usually don't necessarily convert into momentum going your way. But for this one, for them, and well, there's your coffee paper, Thin. Thank you so much.
Into the middle of this, down that bottom road as they can. Kind of like the old Na'Vi strat, right? They used to just drive down that bottom road and then just play top or bottom to top the rest of the game.
I mean, full southern control on a map like this is just, it's incredibly OP for multiple factors. One of them being, if you're an edge team already and you in phase 1 can say, well, there's no one behind us because it's water. I mean, you can play backs free, you can focus on your only 180-degree forward. It makes scary players that much more scary, knowing that their angle that they have to cover is smaller. They will see you more often and get those kills more often.
Yeah, exactly. It is amazing. I mean, just the caliber of player in this lobby and what you have to be aware of, what you have to be thinking about. Like, yeah, if Finland now is, you know, speaking of kind of these jockeying for rotations, they've gone around the USA, Indonesia, trying to do what you were talking about a little bit earlier, where there's kind of only 2 ways to get around Los Leones. They're going to go on the western side. There's plenty of...
Seeing Seoul already now, both Seoul and Loki shooting down towards USA. So as much as they want to wrap south around, they get shot at as soon as they make the raid down the ridge line. Has to fall back. New circle.
Yes.
Not so, but I think it has to do with the circle going that far south as well. I mean, that compound, we've seen so many games go into that warehouse area, at least initially, and teams sitting in that, being able to backfill late game, get wins off of it. Once they see that circle go hard away from the compound, they go, you know what, we can just back out west. No reason to take the fight now. Nate's coming up here. We saw United Kingdom and Indonesia getting close to one another before. They're still outside the circle here, and Indonesia has a decision to make. Do we go up and help, or do we try and regroup? This thing is now they must make the play. Neil, Teddy making plays. RDK finds Fex and still over half HP up.
Yeah, he had a great timing on that repeat there. You know, Fex have been throwing a couple grenades.
Yeah, they heard the commotion north of them, and they know if we start aggressing this way, we could go into trouble of our own.
It would surprise me to see Japan commit to it, not just because it may be dangerous, but just
time here. Teddy does go down as Ming Ming comes on in. Right next to RDK, it's Vard. Did not expect that one, and Vard gets a freebie.
Oh, man. I mean, it's pretty funny here. Indonesia kind of trying to isolate battles here, I think unintentionally against the UK. Now, there are some reinforcements. You can see them at the top part of your map that are trying to get the help Vard up in front. But Vard is so good on his own. He's been so good so far for this team, but now he's under pressure from multiple angles. It is going to fall to Nile.
Yep, the help comes, but the help came too late. They are going to go in, and once again, we shift water side. What is going on here? I don't think I've ever had triple back-to-back southern shifts like this. T-Bone, hello.
You just haven't casted with me in a long time.
That's what it is. We need to cast more often. That's what it is. Michael, T-Bone, they want to reinforce this. Even though their teammate went down, it's still a good position to kind of enter from. Issue is China is now coming into this one as well.
Well, this is quintessential China. You know, there's been a fight brewing for quite some time. They need to find space, and the grenades are good. Seoul from Korea as well.
It was GLL, the last
Season
LAN.
4, yeah.
This was the pairing that we had right before COVID kicked off. So great to be back with you, and moving into Erangel, which has been very, very good to United Kingdom so far, and where we've been seeing Brazil have some problems. Brazil is definitely being favored on those Miramar maps, so let's see if the trend continues, or maybe Brazil just having fun.
Odds of the circle potentially moving towards them. It is going to go hard north. Oh my. This is one of the least likely options that this circle could have done.
I gotta say it. That's
I mean, there's a lot of teams kind of stuck up on that northeastern side. Keenan going to open up with a spray Vietnam. A little bit of a response from the car, so that's going to send Keenan back up into the warehouse. Circle's going to shift away from the water a little bit earlier.
Things in the smoke. There's Nero on no vision. Everybody is just dancing around trying to spot it. VHC gets a spray into one, trying to pick up more. Haven's outside in the blue, and it is just horrible.
I mean, what a maneuver there to throw the stun at his feet while he's running through the smoke to distract. But after that, I mean, that US is super beat up. It's not going to take long before it explodes. explodes.
Oh, nice hold up coming up from Indonesia. You can see Turkey was trying to make the play into this one and quickly picked off. Mill doing a great job on continuing to survive right now as Turkey is dancing around the outside of this one. They also have one of their members very far out in the distance. Actually, both of the members are quite away from this. So trying to feel out their approach. Now it looks like they might be eyeing Japan's side.
Open space that they're going to be able to get to this rock. But that means
What?
that you're still going to have a
BGZ.
couple different teams watching. He's still alive.
He's still alive.
I don't know.
Hillside. See if Thailand can manage to defend this one up, though, as Nurens does have a good position for it, but China still inside the safe zone has multiple gatekeeping positions to play from.
Well, Nurens has a good flank. Nobody's going to be behind him, but China's going to load and get ready for this one. Ming Ming trying to wrap around the bottom, trying to see if he can catch the...
Him there. It was just nades into instant spray. Now we can see that China's going to move back to the north of this. Korea's still doing a good job of defending up. They're taking shots at Indonesia, who's outside the safe zone, and trying to corral them into Japan, who's going to be the east of where Indonesia is at. This position still quite strong as it is to the south of south. Still trying to be worked out as Japan and Indonesia have finally bumped into each other.
What a great rotation from Tickleton there, just to sidestep a little bit, get the angle downhill, and finish the job. Pick up a big double for his team. Indonesia struggling to get into the next circle. Japan has aggressed thoroughly inside of their front line. Probably going to get a big knockout there. Shiva up on top. That's RDK dead to rights.
Japan so much more comfortable today, getting their shots, hitting them as they go, and it looks like we're going to see them be able to gatekeep out. Shiva now very close to Kid X, and that's kind of the remnants on what's going on with Indonesia, how long they can manage to survive it out. Kid X is playing this one pretty slow. I don't think that he's going to try to go back for this one. Yeah, he's just going to make his way up that hillside and see if Shiva can spot it out. He should have an idea that he's just on the other side of this hill. Got to be careful. Now he knows what's going on, looks down through it, gets the shots in, and that was quick.
That was pretty good. Over the top.
Circle.
We can only hope. I know you and I
wish.
are in circles, so I'm sure the players don't want to see it, but I mean, Zarki is a completely different area of the map than near that crash plane in the shooting range.
Look, too unexpected so far.
Yeah, everything should be, I think, pretty routine because of the way that this plane is and because that it's
Thank you, Orange Jesus. This is what I want.
I like that better. Yeah, no level right now. And I really want to point out that you may not know a lot of these players because the Japanese teams, typically haven't been as good as Korea and Japan, so they're often kind of lost in the sauce of everybody talking about the Asia region. But I really want to point out that Shiva and Kane, for example, have been on a team with Americano and Korn on what's called Donuts USG is the name of the
Which
team.
is an amazing name, by the way.
And it's not actually a donut company, which is really sad in a way, but still, the Donut's great name, and they are really good players, really, in their own right.
Japan at some point
Yeah,
so I can make all of the Katakuri jokes regarding donuts. I know somebody out there is going to get that joke, and I appreciate it for every One Piece fan.
I
that's
get
gonna
that
go.
joke, yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
I didn't know. Look, see,
a
this
little
is why
bit.
I
I
love
get
you.
it a little
I love
bit.
you.
I know. Well, I'm also a fellow weeb, so.
Well, I mean, you live in Korea. It's a requirement. I'm in Texas. I'm kind of an outlier over there. We've got Brazil that does have a good position inside the circle, but I also want to point out to everybody we have Australia that is also in a very good spot. Chinese Taipei is making an early rotation into this, and UK also playing in Milta proper has themselves a good spot inside of the circle. So a lot of the teams that we have our eyes on already, one of the teams that are inside of, I would say, a very strong position.
Yeah, and I mean, especially the UK and Australia trying to bounce back from pretty disappointing performances so far today compared to yesterday. Open that they
Johnson, Indonesia at range there. They've got themselves spotted over around Milta. It's long range mostly, so the rest should be able to come through. Yeah, pick him up, move him to a better spot, but really Thailand's got themselves a wide spread all the way from the bridge up into Milta proper, so if anybody
stay safe on, keep your vehicle safe, or just go to the edge of the Milta compound itself. We'll see. Everybody's trying to get ahead of this.
Finland.
A lot of pre-rotations cover the hill, but they have Finland moving ahead.
to the south of it, now we've got Vietnam and Indonesia. Indonesia's trying to run through, but Vietnam has a great position for them and just absolutely tearing them apart. Back behind this, it's going to be Thailand that's going to be trying to make a run through it, but Vietnam's already got the defensive wall lined up. Nade's going to be tossed over the side of that one. Doesn't connect, but man, this...
Right next to
Oh, Belmont!
He's getting help from Nil. It's actually Nile from Indonesia that's going to get the knock onto YM Cud and Belmont.
Or small power, whatever you want to call it, could be a key component inside this based off the way the circle shifts. There's also the hills that are going to be to the west and the southwest of that position that are very common endpoints for this circle. Yep.
Thrown out. Doesn't do too much damage, though, as the vehicle...